Good appropriate time of the day to you, friends and enemies. I am Richard, and this is LMTDTMFFR, or say it with me now. Limited time offer, no vowels. How are you doing today? Are you all okay? I hope you're okay. I hope you're doing better than I have been doing for the past couple of days. Nothing horrible, just I had the vaccination and, just felt off for the last few days. Don't get me wrong, I am very, very glad that I got the vaccination, but man, did it knock me out. Still, there we go. That's the price you pay for being healthy and staying alive. What you gonna do about it? Die just to prove everybody wrong? What an idiotic thing that would be for you to do. As you can probably tell by the nasty vampire up here, and the title of this stream. Yes, continuing with Vampire Masquerade, Shadows of New York. Why? Because I haven't had a chance to do point and click in a while, even though, this isn't point and click, but yeah. Haven't had much of a chance to do any of them recently. But still, that's my fault, not yours. So let's switch on over, open up the game audio, and hopefully come along, show us the thing. I have to wait for my stream down the bottom to catch up to make sure you're seeing all of what I am seeing. Excellent. Alright. Julia, night 5. So, we need to know by the end of the week who done the murder that we're looking into. Here we are, and we were driving to see... Who were we driving to see? Don't know, but we're loyal to the end of the Camarilla. That was a trait we picked up. Alright, let's find out who we're driving to see. Let me just double check a thing. Yes, sound is coming through. Excellent. Onwards. Aisling. Okay. Tremere. As already told Kadir. And, numerous times at that, I have an idea what happened with Agthorn. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Aisling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She is in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about his connection to Kindred, going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? Yes, the death of one of the members of the Camarilla, the Baron of the area. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional. And never meddled in his personal affairs. Unless they influenced our work, that is, but it only happened one time. Well, this is a place. I'm assuming that's a statue, but, it could be a dried out mummy. And then... is that a heater? Some sort of wheel attachment to make it whistle? That opens a valve? Wheel turns to open the valve to make it whistle when it's got enough pressure, but that doesn't seem right. What is that? Jeez. Alright, onwards. Ah, yes, the infamous Juno case. Well, we don't know about this case. Tell us. Excuse me 1 second. And now... about that Juno. Were there any signs he's leaving? Is there any conflict between you two? Tell me about Juno. I want to know more about them. Could that Juno case be the reason he's missing? I seriously doubt it, for many reasons. I think the boy's lost his appetite for studying blood magic and set out to do a little soul searching. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favoured by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-faire. Ah, that's savoir-faire. Faire is F. Fivre? I'm not sure what that word is. Interesting. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, que sera, sera. No skin off my back. That's an interesting turn of phrase. It's usually no skin off my nose. So you wouldn't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. Researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst case scenario. Seriously. And just takes things as they come. Or, you know, she already knows he's dead. And is saying, no, it couldn't possibly be him involved in this. Because he's dead, dead, dead! I killed him! He's dead. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists don't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own head long ago. I mean... that's a cheery thought. I'd like to research the chantry for Agathorn's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that, long ago. You'd just be wasting your time. And ours, for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Aisling. Minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she has a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes, and if you attempt to pass this door, or that one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. I mean, I'm not alive, so I can guarantee I won't walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. Ah, spinning moons. I guess I'm accessing some of my powers by mistake, or something is overwhelming me with it. I don't know why else there would be moon. My time here is practically up, and I found nothing of use. It seems Agathorn was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. Oh, okay, so that's just showing passage of time. Alright, not with... I mean, you could have had a clock, or a candle, or, you know, anything apart from weird thing comes up and then moon. But, you know... It's all research, research, research. It seems like, oh boy. Come on, show me something, dead spirit. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a workaholic? A warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? I mean, I wouldn't if I didn't want to be found. But if I did... I mean, they're going to come and find my research. Would I want them to find me? Follow me in my research? Possibly? I mean, it had to be in the books, right? Good to have you back. Now you go to sleep. This game just never grabbed you. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Alright, well... Not every game is going to grab everyone, which is why I try, or would like to, more often than not, do variety stuff. But hey, I'm glad you were here for this brief thing and possibly heard this message if you haven't already gone away and, you know, not heard this message. If you didn't hear this message, please say so and I will repeat it. I have no idea what I said. I probably just repeat something, you know, vaguely similar. Or you can go back and listen to it again at some other point on the VOD. Which you wouldn't have heard, so you don't know. So there we go. Those are your options. You can leave me on in a muted tab. Also, I definitely did not hear that message. I'm glad that you did not hear that message. I will repeat it for you. Do things. Be great. Have stuff. I mean, that's not even close to the message I left you. Beep! Leave me a message after the tone. What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger? I wanted Dakota to know. Well, I'd tell Dakota. It's loose. Oh, secret compartment. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way. I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and I punched through it with my vampiric strength. Or, you know, I moved a brick. One of the bricks is loose. Why would you do that? Hey, there's something behind this brick. Why would anybody look behind the brick? Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humour in the little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then I tug it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. I mean, your superhuman strength. Inside there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo! Ooh, that's a bingo! Too badly. I was going to say too badly quote, but that's an exact quote. It's a bad impression of. I was going to say Spielberg, but no, not Spielberg. I can't remember the actor's name. Quentin Tarantino is the director I was thinking of when I said Spielberg. But yeah, that's a thing that I can't remember. No, Zero Day Coder, I do not wish to become famous. I wish to be good at my thing, and if that brings me fame, then that will be good. But to become famous is not a thing. Hey, first time chatter. You. Yeah, outright banned. Onwards. Your 10 minutes are up. So, your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I still feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. Are you hiding the fact that you found the diary there, Julia? Okay. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the Chantry could find it. Presumably the High Regent? Hang on. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. Okay, fine. So I have got it to look at and read and discover its secrets. Secrets and lies. But my investigation takes priority for now. Indeed it does. I mean, the two have come into the room and seen you putting the brick back, right? Take the thing out of the place, put the brick, check there's nothing else in there, put the brick back, then investigate the diary. That is how you hide a secret place. I had to Kadir and Aisling adieu and start looking for and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. Thought you were meant to be travelling with Kadir. This place here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. Crappy rundown hotel. Start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is, I hope. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. Wow, what a lot of years that don't really matter to a vampire, I guess. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too slow on the uptake, too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries beginning in 2012 are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there's anything to his unlife besides work, it's his relationships with the 3 important women he holds dear. The Tremere, the leader of the Chantry, because the Tremere is the clan. I'm not going to say his mother or anything because, you know, he's undead and probably has been for several decades, so his mother's probably dead by then. I don't know who the other 2 are. First is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. Looks like he's willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm her studies. Okay. Dedication to his master. Interesting. Tells us something. Good pupil serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. Yeah. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover, Juno, who he feels guilty about. Had a conflict in which Aisling was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Aisling. Alright, okay. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and ultimately guilt, which made him feel responsible for her. Huh. But maybe it's just excuses. It strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. Ooh, so we're gonna remind ourselves of romance we had. I mean, I really want to expand the relationship between Julia and Dakota, but I don't want to say, hey Dakota, you're not going to have a fulfilling romance with me. So, and this is probably going to get us a trait. So let's remember past loves. That one time in high school. Oh god, Julia, this is not the time to revisit the time you petly perceived as ground zero for your fucked up mental state. Get on with it. Anyway, did I accidentally click? Don't remember? Nah. Anyway, last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. Oh, okay. She is the light of his life and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I would have thought it was your end of the spectrum. The Lambrusca? You're not going to tell me my own clan, of course not. Clans, there it is, yes. Okay, it's right there on the first page and I just missed it because it didn't say it's La Sombra, not La Brusca, because, you know, we all know what that is. We won't mention why I had that on my mind though. My family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually. Why the question mark at the end there? That makes no sense. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually? He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills. The kind of man who carried the entire world on his shoulders. Carry it in your hands. It's easier. I don't know that you can see my hands in that, but hey. Left alone with Aisling, he drowned himself in work, and eventually burned out. But it doesn't sound like Silver's death was the only event that triggered his depression spiral. There's a question mark again. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. He doesn't cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down? It's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. So, I mean, there's Icarus, who's the idiot, who flew too close to the sun. And then there was his father, who was the inventor, who made the maze that the Minotaur was kept in. What was the name of the inventor? I should know this. I've recently... Damn. Daedalus. Daedalus. There we go. Yeah. Daedalus was the inventor. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandmother's death. New York stopped feeling like home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. I checked the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile, and striking a rather dramatic pose. I mean, any photograph of him would be recent. Aside from the clothes, can't really change a lot. Okay, that's assuming that the Vampire the Masquerade, sorry, the yeah, the Vampire the Masquerade uses the same logic as Anne Rice's vampires, where all of their hair and features about them reset to the same thing every night. So you could go out, get a haircut, and then when you woke up again the next night after having been asleep in your coffin or wherever you hid, your hair would have regrown to its proper length. So, if you're ever going to get bitten by vampires, make sure that your hair is the length that you want it, and that if you needed to, you've had a good shave beforehand. As I understand it, everywhere. Make sure you're shaved wherever you need to be shaved before you're bitten by a vampire, yeah? Looking good for death is important. First, it looks kind of poserish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. A final melancholy glance he throws over in your direction. He throws over his shoulder in your direction before disappearing for good. Yeah. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Keep it. It might be just something he kept as a keepsake, or it might be part of a ritual, or, you know, it might be part of somebody's costume they were wearing when they disappeared. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem. More than annoyed, sad. More than sad, unhappy. More than unhappy, suffering. More than suffering, abandoned. More than abandoned, alone in the world. More than alone, exiled. More than exiled, dead. Huh. More than dead, forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Marie Locherin. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with this diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. That's not all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Indeed, quite a few of the pages towards the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. What other reason do you have to remove them? Made a mistake? You know, like spill ink on the page so that nothing could be read beneath it? I don't know. No, torn off in a way that makes it clear that the paper wasn't ever used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. So were they taken because they... well, I mean, you could have invisible writing. Particularly so with Tremere magic. Could be invisible in a way that isn't lemon juice on a paper. So... it could have been taken as some sort of... this is a thing that belonged to him and these had important emotional ties to him. So we'll take the blank pages before they're tainted by his own thoughts. Could it be that that's when it happens again? Oh, there's somebody walking past in the background there. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed! I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I turned into this. The best part is, I feel they were always there. Even as a model, they were there sometimes in the corner of my eye, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them. making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all, am I compelled to do so? No, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, my experience, they aren't exactly, I don't know, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. And they told you to bleed? I open the book on the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody is staring. Yeah, okay, so we are going with the Tremere blood magic on the page, form words, da 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 da. Excellent. And I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, I just want to let a droplet of vitae fall onto the page. Yes, page, I can guess the word. That's when the letters appear. Look at me, a tragic clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted. I turn to a... Let's gotta say fucking, right? Fucking spick. A Camarilla spick at that. A-G-I-C. What? Why is tragic? Why are you? Am I missing something? Why would you censor tragic? And I don't know why you would censor that in this either. You've already said, hey, well, I suppose maybe you needed to censor it in order to get a certain rating. But, you know, maybe I'm missing a swear word? With all your hip cool yous and your funky new swear words, like... The only thing I think of is Muppet penis. And that's not hip, nor cool, nor a funky new swear word, but there we go. I have said it. Reserved contempt. What are you waiting for, boy? Laugh at me. Ridicule is all I deserve. Okay, so that it's not being censored. It's just the words aren't forming properly on the page. A-I-T... No. That can't be wait... Well, alright. Presumably, then, these don't represent individual letters, but just missing. So I'll just guess my way through it, I guess. Come on! Don't just stand there like an idiot. You want to say something? Say it. What the hell? Yeah, I'm confused as well. This is the last thing I expected to happen. Yeah, why are we getting dialogue between him and the Baron? This diary is haunted. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view, it's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to a half-remembered dream full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might it be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan. That was Ellis Island? Oh, well, we went there, didn't we? Right. So you want me to write something in there. This time, I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. Pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it into my vitae. Vitae? Vitae. Vitae. I mean, this clan would be horrible to run in a game, because you would have so many intrusions from the GM like that. You would have to think, hey, what clues am I going to drop for the people that they can just get? And I write down compassion, confusion, contempt. I am confused, so I'm going to write down confusion. Tell me what's going on. Let's try confusion. I understand why you agreed to see me, old man, but I am confused as to why you'd agonize about a choice in front of me. Makes you seem weak, neurotic, indecisive. Okay, so I'm informing what he's going to be saying. I am altering the reality of this book. Alright. Dictionary updated. I have my own code of honor, lick. Not that you'd understand. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've seen lick. Alright, Anak to use this informal term instead of kindred. From what I can tell, the camera thinks it's vulgar. I don't even think I heard it at the Elysium. Whatever. Oh yeah. You're as 90s as you can be. Let's just get down to buses. Yeah, let's get down to buses. Buses are great. Or business. It doesn't feel like this is the way these events took place. It's more like a way to explore Agathorn's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, this diary is reacting to me, and some shade of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. And some buses. There were a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. It's also an effect of the diary's power. Let's try... Ooh. Let's look at our destiny. We hold it in our hand before us. Seems like a good one to me. I'm curious, what is the destiny you see in front of you? There are two paths I see laid out in front of me. The first one is freedom, bought with a horrible price. The second one is utter and complete debasement. But you haven't decided on one of these paths yet? No, but I'm afraid that choice may have been already made for me. God damn it! What are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Interesting, he said, having just noticed it. We had C, now we've got D. Oh, sorry, then we had D, now we've got E. So, are we going to go through the whole alphabet? Endure. This time, I think. We just need to endure. I told you what I know, and should buy some time. I'll see what else I can find out. Perhaps I should have done Ellis Island. Time? There's no time. I'm not dealing with dumb fucks like you. We have to act like we've already been found out and act fast. For all I know, they might already have ordered our deaths. Oh. I'm the High Regent's pupil. I've been her right-hand man for years. There's no way she'd allow for me to... You cocksucker. The moment she sees you as a failed experiment, she's going to treat you the way she treats all her failed experiments. Blood running cold. This is reminding me of the Disappointed from Kevin Sorbo in Hercules. Oh. All the scribblings disappear and another set starts taking their place. Harry conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get a feeling of deja vu. Well, you've just been there. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely. This is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. This is even his room, right? And standing here is just the person I'd expect. You. Right? Unless you're looking out of... Or not you, sorry, I mean Agathorn you. Nope. Okay, Aisling. Oh, alright. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. What if the person he was talking about and eliciting a strong emotional reaction from was Aisling? Izari waits my next command. Oh. Why? High Regent. Why? Why? You can't be serious. These experiments need resources, and I wouldn't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's a quid pro quo. It's not like my research isn't helping all kindred in a I'm guessing that's in the long run. I don't feel comfortable being part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agathorn. Science has always relied on politics, and politics on science. Disappointing, if true. Not like this, High Regent. Oh, I'm going to do the whiny one. Don't embarrass me, Agathorn. Not like this. The moving scribblings disappear again, and I hastily let another drop of blood fall on the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Oh, I thought it was going to be Kadir, but no. Oh, Malkavians. No. Wait. I cannot remember which clan you were in. That's the problems with having to take some time away from it. Yeah. Oh yes, Agathorn. What is it you wanted to tell me? You goddamn rat. You goddamn rat. I beg your pardon? The harpy vanishes. Yeah, right. See if you could ever gather courage to say this to your face. The least I can do is try and stab you in the back. Diary ends here. I spell a little more vitae on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathorn. Is he alive or is he dead? Well, I mean, he's dead, but he might be undead or dead. I am going to say he's dead. I mean, yeah, I guess you could consider yourself still alive, which he knows. Yeah, dead. Dead. I think he did his part and then was disposed of. Or was disposed of doing his part because Aisling knew and sent him out on a dangerous mission that, if he died, didn't matter because she'd disposed of her traitorous pupil, or at least not entirely loyal pupil, doing things outside of what she would want him to do. And if he succeeded and then died, well then that would be good because the success would have happened, and if he succeeded and made it back somehow, highly unlikely in her view, I would guess, then she could deal with him later. So yeah, dead in any manner. He's dead, no doubt about it. There are just too many powerful folks involved, and everything I've seen in the diary felt like a noose tightening around his neck. Choose to believe he's dead, because that's the most rational thing to do. Trade updated. I suppose Dakota's right. I'm a glass half empty buzzkill. Alright, what trade have we got now? Oh, that's dictionary. That's not the right one. Glass half empty. Alright, okay. Could have been optimistic. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the Arto. I mean, is it glass half empty or is it realistic? You decide. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry, so I just wait until I see him. On his BlackBerry. Wow. The vampire out of touch. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. You're still wearing your party clothes? That's not right. Miss Sawinski, shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? I am. That's why I'm talking to you. I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. Pretty much what I just said. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with this case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure. I suppose it's commendable. What is it then? I have reason to believe that in the last few months, you, High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, and her child, Agathorn, were involved in a secretive scheme. I mean, you could say that about just about anybody, and be right. Yeah? Its expression changes ever so imperceptibly, but the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Arturo has repeatedly failed to influence. You'll think twice before approaching him. Also, you know, he's the can kill at will. So, you know, if anything happens to me, and he thinks the sheriff knows, then he'll go after Arturo. Because he knows that Arturo knows that he was the one that I was going to see because of the lead I told the sheriff about. Twisty-turny logic. How to say that matter relates to the matters at hand, the task even. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and he might have had grounds to fear for his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Sawinski, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It's a strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. It would be wise of you to fuck off. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I'm 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the Prince, and see if her stance differs from mine. I think you aren't as naive as to waste her time this way. And besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? I don't want the stuttering. Bluff it out, calm yourself down, do the confident thing. I could, absolutely. I have no response. God damn it. This is a revenge for revoking Kadir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Selinsky. So that's how you're going to play it, you bastard. Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet. Just you wait. In a few nights. Being a few cards short of a full deck is an expression over here in England. I assume it is in other places too. But it means not all there, missing something in your mind. Yes? Not in a don't have all the information way, but in a your brain doesn't quite function right way. So that's is an odd metaphor to use for me. I'll take my leave then. Why can't you go inside the art hold? Yes, do that. Don't me be so blunt. Focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. Guess this avenue really is cut off for me. At least, for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go by, but for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always feel relieved to see him from far. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled most of it off in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he had to sneak up on me. Even you heard about it. I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what, where, but the last time we met you promised to share that knowledge with me. Did I? Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Bella. The way you fall for obvious lies stems from your biggest failing in communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said, not the how. Okay. Yep. I mean, that is difficult to convey in text alone. I mean, the quote marks, those are certainly a way of doing it. I've got no problem with them doing it in text, like is on the page down there. But when you do that in real life with your fingers like that, you bloody morons! We're communicating face to face. If I can see you doing that, I can hear you change your voice. Do you want a dessert? And look, I did something with my face as well. You don't need those. That's... Booyah, motherfucker! Suck it! Annihilated with an absolutely flawless diagnosis! Booyah! Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. Won't happen again. Especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. Where? You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. No, we won't. Why would I even bother coming here? Oh, I need to pass on my reports to the... I'm going to keep calling it Lambrasca. La Sombra. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. It says my name in a sickly sweet way. Gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. Oh, well, if he did it sickly sweet. Well, messed that one up, eh? Finally, my haven. Alright, haven being place where you live. A girl has to hide that from that sun somewhere, right? That tends to be at Dakota's place for me lately. Nobody like to randomly stumble upon me when I sleep there. Nobody's likely to. Not randomly, but if they know you. They know you from your previous life and they come in and there's a corpse of you when you're meant to be dead. Oh, itchy eye, sorry. Alright, onwards. Hey. Hey, Dakota. Hey. Another tough night? You don't know the half of it. You want a drink? She wants to her neck. I managed to summon a faint smile. I'd love to. But you know, can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. You want to talk then? Oh, I had thought that was just, you know, part of the light and the way it caught it. But maybe that's repeated scarring on top of the tattoo. Yeah. New flesh coming through. Yeah, so just not about work, okay? Sit down next to her. Not about work, got it. What's on your mind then? Work. The faster, yes. Meaning, how spotty our memories are now. Despite that, that's what we build our convictions on. Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired and frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What do you remember about the time we first met? Nothing. The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those were gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of it with blank spaces. I remember you trying to paint your hair black. Ouch! Don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Hasu. Don't say Hasu. It's low-key racist, I think. I don't know what it is. Sorry if it is. Nobody ever knows what you mean by house. That show where the asshole talks it? No, the Japanese haunted house film feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. Okay. So it might be racist because you're trying to use the... Oh, because you're trying to pronounce it with a Japanese accent as if they were saying it in English. Right, okay, yep. I understand why that might be. In the best way. In the best way. Duh. We're arguing which characters from the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu and ended up as Prof, which was rude. You were dressed up like a total nerd. Not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I liked that suit. You wore it to work all the time, didn't you? Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. Funny. I remember you needed help with writing or something that tended to happen far more often. Yep, we developed a fun shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns, and it bonded us together before we made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not sure we are, especially now with me not being a human being anymore. And hey, at least we both agreed that this bedroom feels super comfy. Remember always feeling left out of your social circles. Always knocking at the door from the outside. I mean, that is where you would knock on the door from. Oh, forget it. My social circles were full of out-of-touch, snobby assholes. And that's touch, not touch. Why? I don't know. Yeah, but it felt weird about how much they avoided me. There was that one time with Isabella? All of a sudden, one thing Isabella said at that one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight, in that kitchen, without context, she just walked up to me and... She will isolate you, she will suck you dry, and she'll move on to the next target. It's the only thing she knows. I mean, that's what I can do now? Don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long. And it's all baseless conjecture now, but what if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? Glass half empty, my ass. Something is off here. That might be a part of it. Can't rule that out, at least. I won't say anything, but it's worth keeping in mind for the future. Being naturally suspicious is a virtue, whatever Dakota says. Just carry on as if nothing happened. Yeah, forget Isabella. Let's drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a reset. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep? Yeah, gotta get ready. Go back to hell. Tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah. Office is going insane for so many reasons. I'm getting cabin fever too. I mean, and this isn't happening during the time of COVID. So you know, this is... Working remotely is weird and unusual and strange and not talked about much. Get some sun. It'll be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. Achievement unlocked. The Vampire Diary. Very good. Well done. Alright, so it's almost there. So, Bunny has a report. They're not left. Oh, right, yes. But yeah, I need to rest. Oh. A few minutes after I wake, I see a message slipped under the apartment's front door. Kadir? Yep. Looks like he's got a short window to meet me in Queens. A few hours from now. Well, let's point. A single suggestion. Get ready for action. Fine then, I will. Best way to do that would be to clear my mind, just walk without thinking. And set the framework. Some fresh air should do it. Also, maybe some blood, in case you need to pull on your abilities? Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Let me look at the world from a different angle for a while, and improve my mood. Although, when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. Exactly. Not to mention, these cigarettes taste best with a full stomach. Eat in Times Square. Play on the strip. Let there be fame. I mean, maybe I can eat in Times Square, you know, if nobody was watching. Let's go. Alright, 2 different places. I didn't seek for dummies. I'm being tired. Last thing I need right now is a widow stalker following my every step. Did I take this investigation too far down the rabbit hole? Or, that's my table. No place like home, but I need a little piece. Big birdo, here I come. Wait, who is this loon? Oh, well, I'd rather find a loon than a stalker, I think. And again, I find myself at the entrance to my sanctuary. Current vibe, not exactly an embodiment of joie de vivre, but unburdened by my usual self-loathing. All in all, a pretty decent frame of mind. Beware, Big Burger, something wicked this way comes. Cometh. Why ruin the quote with that? And poof, just like that, my mood is ruined. All it took was a single step through the door. Frenetic woman. Oh, she's wearing fox fur. Alright. Some swivel-eyed loon took my seat. Her legs are crossed over the table, dirty shoes standing my chipboard holder. Oh, come on! Clothing style is obviously meant to look eccentric and patchwork. Comes off as tragically derelict. There's nothing coincidental in her table choice, and it's not just because there's plenty of free spots tonight. She ogles me with those beady little eyes, daring me to come and try her. Malkavian? Give the guy at the till, Benny, I think his name was, quick glance, no response. Unsurprisingly, he's a veteran, and it's better than to get involved. Is this supposed to be a message? Long shot, but a reminder of the Camarilla's watchful eye, maybe? Everything about this lady. Her hairstyle, her mannerisms, lipstick smeared nowhere near her actual lips, screams, lunatic. I'm not the type that fights tooth and nail to get to the other bats out of her cave. But I'm not just going to back down for no good reason either. Quietly take a seat right in front of her and wait. Yeah, you crazy-haired widow hag. I can be patient too. We spend the next 5 minutes in silence. Just sit there and glares at me without blinking once. Another few minutes go by, dragging on indefinitely. He's chewing some red bubblegum with a wide-eyed grin that makes Jack Nicholson's trademark smirk look like Mr. Rogers' beaming smile. Not gonna lie, chew, that munching, chew, is getting, chew, on my nerves. The power is held by the person who doesn't break. Keep your cool. Perfectly aware all this theatricality serves only one purpose: to get under my skin, make me act against my better judgment. It's Chew, surprisingly effective, I'll give her that. But I'm not an idiot. I'll just take the chill pill, try my best to remain in control. She uncrosses her legs in a strangely seductive motion. In her mind's eye, it probably looks like Sharon Sloan in Basic Instinct, but in reality it had all the grace of a tracksuit Slav squatting. And in what way is it seductive? Seems we're going to be here a while longer. I pull out a cigarette from my crumpled package and light it casually, as if I wasn't bothered at all by the invader. Or I could take a single puff, then I snatches a cigarette out of my mouth. Don't mind if I do. Anyone else getting Winona Ryder vibes from that? From that get-up? I mean, she doesn't wear fur in any of the roles, but, you know, or at least I haven't seen her wearing fur in those. But yeah. Who do you... She cuts me off mid-sentence. Shh, no talking. You need to go back to your happy place. I try to hold the impetus to rip her face off. She picks up after a few seconds. I don't like you. I don't hate you either. Not yet, at least. Sheesh. I'm a good judge of character, but you'll still allude to me. Get to the fucking point. She flicks the ash off the cigarette in a fluid motion and takes a long puff. No exhaling. Smoke comes out of her mouth while she speaks, like her intestines caught on fire. My special friend asked me to note your every step, judge your every move, and count your every failure. And believe me, when I started this job, I thought there would be a lot less counting. Who is she talking about? Panhard? Kadir? Talk? Malkavian, surely. She tilts her head on in an upsettingly canine manner. Hello, girl. Run all sorts of charts and graphs on you. They all pointed to the same result. Useless. Hussy. Can you help your sister out and illuminate me as to what all the fuss is about? Don't want to help out? Come on. If you're a good doggy, you might get a biscuit. As if all that bullshit wasn't enough, she taps my nose like I'm some fucking puppy. Oh, no, you didn't. You want to get nuts? Okay, let's get nuts! Do we want to be easily riled? I don't think we want to... I mean, if I use dominate now, am I going to be not ready for action later? If I lash out, can I risk the injury? But if I calm down, does that mean it looks like I'm taking it? I have bigger fish to fry this evening. I don't have time to deal with your bullshit. A truly Herculean effort. I restrain myself from smacking her hand aside and going for her throat, despite all the pleasantly violent images flashing in my mind. I clench my fist so hard the skin gives into my fingernails, painting the palm of my hand with just a little bit of blood. That loony bitch is clearly savouring the moment, until she's not. As soon as I manage to compose myself, she storms out without looking at me once. Loud slam announces both her departure and the necessity to repair the door, for the 100th time or so. I'm still not sure what that was all about, but I swear, if I ever meet her again, I don't think I'm going to be half as zen as I was tonight. Yeah, I'll take that. It's time to get back to work. I step inside the subway and head for my meeting with Kadir. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought you were kidding. Nope. Couldn't reach her, but I know for a fact Hope is there. He's pointing in the direction of a double spiral building. Oh, okay, sorry. I was looking for a building that was built like a double spiral. Foolish me, expecting, you know, amazing modern architecture. Just been spoiled, I guess, by living in London with its weird architecture at times. Modern architecture. Its old architecture looks pretty good and has stood up well. But, yeah, that's another story. And what is she doing there? I understand she's the current leader of the company, acting CEO to be exact. No, you're pulling my leg. Of all the places in this city. The company that brags about creating IT solutions of the future, always surrounded by rumors of monstrous worker abuse, all sorts of ethical violations, trading information with governments, and ending the career of a certain promising journalist whose professional fuck-up. You attempted to investigate them seriously? You might be able to ask her both professional and personal questions. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ooh. Don't get it. Last time I checked, the company belonged to Cara Montgomery. I thought she quietly took a sabbatical a few months ago. It sure looks like the kind of sabbatical you don't come back from. Final death. Final death? Very possible, but I have no idea. Would you have said that? No matter what I said. Choices with no meaning. I remember I was shocked when I first learned that one of my nemesis back in my old life was a vampire all along. I realized her position made her untouchable to me. I was beyond mad. Yeah. Well, whatever happened, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. What about our brother, Jesse? Asking me? Last I checked, you were the expert on this company. I just handled the basic intel for you, even though I shouldn't even really be here. This is, I mean, This is annoying because I shouldn't go in here at all because people will go, hey, isn't that the reporter? Unless, I mean, you can change yourself enough to not look like that, but if anybody goes digging, ugh. Yeah, and I hope you realise I am grateful. You had better be. So, is Hope just another corporate shark? Well, she is the child of Carter. Theatrical pause. He smiles as he sees me wince. But very much unlike him. He took her in for her particular multifaceted talents related to the internet, knowing he's hopelessly behind the times in that regard. I hear she's been unruly, though. Well, unruly is good. I can work with unruly. So you're telling me she might not be a stuck-up startup bitch? Language? As I've told you a few times now. When it comes to the internet, just assume I haven't the slightest idea. I'm getting there myself. I haven't been able to check my email for 5 months. I have no idea what the kids at BBB are talking about most of the time. Damn, yeah. You and your powers for the Sombra. Not being able to use electronics at all, they all go futs when you try them. God, the memes you must be missing out on. And all the exciting internet gossip. And, wow, Twitter, how will you ever know what's going on? Oh my god, I might be getting old. No, you have just become a vampire. Don't worry, you realise you don't give a damn about most fads you wouldn't have cared about years ago is a liberating one. And there, done that, at the beginning of the 20th century. I mean, I still care and to learn the exciting, interesting jokes that are going on, but fads, etc., fuck them. I am what I am. Old. Anyway, you'll probably hear Hope's stories straight from the horse's mouth. Don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. You shouldn't be looking at anything in the main building. It's just a front. Ignore it. What you want to do is use the elevator to get to the lowest floor of the building. Psh, that story's about the double spiral basement. I had no idea what to make of them. Every source told me a different rumour. Did any of them tell you a rumour about an army of underground ghouls? No? Well, I'm all ears. Double spiral involves an army of ghouls as cheap workforce. Wow, okay, that would work, wouldn't it? Yeah. They work and live underground, away from prying eyes, with lesser rights than the regular kind employees. Perfect for business. Shit. Wow. I'm certain if we could get away with it in this world, we would. Actually speechless for a second. I had profoundly low expectations of that company, but every time I learn something new about what's going on behind the scenes, I'm still surprised at the level of scumbaggery at play. If you want a similar setup to this in the real world, if you want to learn about one, that is, then you should go and look up I'm not sure what it would be under, but company towns, I guess, because they set up their own towns with their own stores and their own houses and their own workplace, and they run everything in there. It is frightening is not the word, but it's still scary. So go and take a look at those up. I'll leave the moral judgments to you, expert. In any case, you need to reach room number 507, where the CEO supposedly resides. And then, I'd hope to answer your questions. His old-timey flip phone vibrates. Speaking of, if you've got any left for me, it's now or never. I'm needed at the outhole. Now. What's the security like? How's the security? Ah yes, good question. As far as I know, it's cameras, body heat sensors, and some electronic locks. Well, none of that will matter to me. Sounds like, with some luck, I might manage to infiltrate the building as nothing but a glitch in the system. Glitch might still provoke an investigation, so be careful. It is rare that our curses turn into blessings. It seems they have, it's usually a trap. I will keep that in mind. And keep your eyes peeled for the ghouls. Phone vibrates again. Well, that's it for me. Turo is besting me to show up at the Elysium 5 minutes ago. Tell him I kindly suggest he should go fuck himself. Not in 1,000 years. Well, good luck with your mission, soldier. I mean, it's possible that both of them could live for more than 1,000 years. In which case you could tell him after that time period has elapsed. With a mock salute, he disappears inside his car and drives away. Nothing left for me but to head in, still. I'm anxious. I mean, this does not look like a place where a CEO would hole up. There are two approaches to choose from, and whichever I pick, I will have to stick with it. If I force my way in and assert my authority, Mad Cop style, that should make an impression. Bad bitch coming in with the entire court behind her back, bluffing her way to victory. Sneaking in and politely asking for cooperation seems like the less disruptive, more me approach. But it's not like being me has taken me anywhere thus far. Shit. I kinda wish I was still stuck in my routine where I didn't need to be doing things like developing a personality. It's a bit of a coin flip, honestly, but I gotta make a choice here. How do I approach Double Spiral? Well, low to the end and glass half empty doesn't give me any indication of how well it might go either way. Although staying covert might be keeping up with the masquerade. If I go in there large and in charge, then they can't deny I was there. If I die. And they'd have to have some footage of me leaving as well. Or of somebody throwing me out. Didn't use my dominate earlier, so I'm still up there at full power, ready to go. Ready for a rumble or mind dominating powers. So yeah, let's go aggressive. Traits updated. Yeah, being covert hasn't exactly been working out for me. Time to show them, and myself I guess, who's boss. A little abuse of power never hurt anybody. Also, I got the backing of the court, baby. As far as I'm concerned, out of all the companies in the world, this one deserves to be thrown out of gear the most. Time to be a bad cop and finally get somewhere. Alright, let's do this. I enter through the front door. There's a guard watching the security camera. He stands up, expecting me to state my busyness. I'm gonna state my buses. Shut up, I'm expected. It's not hard to fuck with his mind. He gives me a confused nod, slumps in his seat, and zones out. I enter the elevator and press the button to the lowest floor. Pump myself up a bit as the elevator descends. At least, if the glitch is working, they can't see or hear you going, "Who's the man? I am a neat guy. I'm gonna get ready." And crying a little bit to, you know, push yourself to be ready. I'm surprised that elevators work for glitchy La Sombra. Hello, Double Spiral. Time to make a mess. When I leave the elevator, I immediately head into the corridor in front of me, announcing my presence. Yoo-hoo! Anybody home? Big bad kindred out here. Better answer before I start making a mess. Pink-haired girl emerges from one of the corridors, looking quite angry. Probably one of Hope's ghouls. Really? Pink-haired? Oh. Stop right there. Who the hell are you? Julius Whiskey, La Sombra representative for New York City. Who the hell are you? I'm Nastya, Double Spiral's head of security. Gonna have to ask you to leave. Wrong. You're gonna have to make me leave. Walk past her. She tries to catch me and stop me. I'm evading a grasp is child's play. Ghouls, I swear to God. Haven't we seen you before? You don't look very security. Must we got a problem? Some lunatic walks right into the floor, claims she is a less. The door at the end of the hallway is made of reinforced glass. Focused all of my strength and kicked it in, interrupting the girl. Really? All of your strength to kick in the reinforced glass? Tell her I'll be right there. She's the only one I want. I went to the Double Spiral offices where, just like Kadir said, hordes of ghouls are slaving away for their company. Deep learning, spyware, social media manipulation, yada yada yada. I mean, they all seem... I mean, they're all well dressed at least. They're not in rags. I would have expected them to be in like prison jumpsuits or something, so they were all uniformed. Important thing is, I don't even turn away from their display as I keep sweeping gadgets off their desks onto the floor, making Nastya madder and madder. Don't make me use force. Oh, I'd love to see you try, Ghoul. Even if you manage to put me down, I'd love to see you explain it to the sheriff, my direct superior. Listen, lady, I don't know what it is you want. I've already told you, stupid. I want your boss. She's not here. Kara Montgomery is taking a sabbatical. Don't play fucking games with me. I want to see Hope. Hey you, goofy looking glasses guy wearing an anime t-shirt. Where can I find room 504? Where can I room find? He raises his hand listlessly, pointing me in the right direction, prompting Nastasia to kick his chair in frustration. I head that way, and eventually reach the corridor I was hoping to find. Just looking, can't see anybody wearing an anime t-shirt. Slowly walk to the end of the corridor. There it is, room 504. It's me on the camera. It all looks harder to take care of than the other ones in this place. Probably won't be able to take care of it the same way I did the others. The door to the office of the current Double Spiral CEO. Oh, are you going to permanently lock? Because that would be disappointing with my glitchy powers. This fucking company. I get pissed off, but I'm trying to control it. There's a camera by the door. If she knows what to look for, she can probably see I'm here on her screen. I mean, you're not that hidden. Just to make sure, I knock on the door. Politely. Hope, I'm a Camarilla detective. I will need you to answer some questions. Hope, I know you're in there. Open the door. I will not leave until you do. I'm here on behalf of the Sheriff of New York City. Hope. Keep pounding on the door and calling her name. After a minute or so, a voice rings out in the intercom. Is this thing on? I guess it is. Alright, I got your message loud and clear. I'll meet you in the offices. I'll be right there. In the meantime, please refrain from making a mess of our offices, will you? No, poor Nastya. If she was due for a heart attack, she would have had it by now. Thank you for your cooperation. I will be right there. I'm not sure I know what Hope looks like, so they could send out somebody else. Hey, so you're Hope. Alright, what's up? On the one hand, clothes you could reasonably expect to find in any CEO's wardrobe. On the other hand, a body covered in tattoos, flashy jewelry, dyed hair, and wild makeup. I thought that she might be yet another CEO playing the nonconformist crosses my mind. She strikes me as someone who's more than happy to live in her own little bubble. Still, don't be fooled. She is the boss of Double Spiral. Illuminati symbol in the middle there, that's nice. Hanged men. I'm not sure. So, how did you find me? I'm an investigator. No, Sheriff Kadir Al-Asmawi did. You have to ask him. No, I'm an investigator. Take out a new cigarette without thinking. You can't smoke in here, lady. Just let her. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. I come in peace. Pieces of your door! Peace my ass. Deep relaxing drag. Not my fault you couldn't handle me. I had at least 5 opportunities to subjugate you. Chose not to because I had a hunch the boss might benefit from seeing you. Are you sure you don't mean subdue rather than subjugate? Do you need a language pass, game? Was this rushed out of the door when nobody bothered to check the language of things? You trust your hunches that much? Hunches have gotten me every job I've ever had. Hunches saved my life any time I got into a messy situation. These days, the reality is too complicated to rely on anything else. I don't understand. I thought you were ghouls being forced to work down here with less rights than ordinary people, ordinary kind workers. Can't find a better head of security than our Nastya, and our hunches are the main reason why. They're like a sixth sense. Yeah, don't I know you from somewhere? And that's where we're gonna go. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Don't know. A club, maybe? Yes. Yeah, last year, soon after I was embraced, I visited that one club in that refurbished warehouse, and you were there. You've got a memorable aura. Yeah, I DJ and help out there from time to time. Gotta show my face if I want to make it big. But you're a ghoul who is being forced to work here with less rights. I don't understand. What is going on? Maybe you're not, and everybody else is. But, fuck it. Why don't you focus on that? Following that career path doesn't exactly seem compatible with being head of security for Double Spiral. And not just because the necessary skill sets are so different. I mean, you're working for Double Spiral. What, one of the biggest? We're talking like this is an Amazon-like thing? And you're head of security for it. Or at least for this place, where the CEO resides. Nastya looks at Hope. Working at Double Spiral provides a lot of benefits to someone who relies on the internet for promotion, lady. Okay, that's true. The slow aging is just a nice perk. Oh, because you're a ghoul. Right, yeah. Well, that means eventually all the music that you play is going to be excitingly retro. Lovely chat, girls, but I'd love it if you saved it for later. I'm CEO now. I have a lot of duties I must pretend to handle. I need to ask you a few questions. Oh, that's the wrong voice. I mean, it's not as if I'm doing voices exactly, but hey. Yeah, sure. Call me if you need me. I've got a weird hunch about this one too. What gave you that hunch, Nastya? Why, I made a mess out of the entire floor you were supposed to protect. I'll talk later. Don't worry, this shit happens. For now, take 5. Nastya leaves, and I am left alone with Hope in the corner of the office. Feels funny to stand here in front of you. Oh, and why is that? You people had me fired from my job before it was embraced. Ah, I see. You're that sow girl from Lone Star? Come on, you would make it sound like a pig if you were trying the insult, weren't you? Yeah. Somehow I never put 2 and 2 together. So you're La Sombra's rep for the city now. Huh. I mean, if you did not put 2 and 2 together, you are not going to survive long. As she's talking to me, she keeps tapping at her phone with terrifying speed. I don't feel like I have her full focus, and it's getting on my nerves. Just boop, touch the phone. Just so you know, I have no idea where you're taking Montgomery's place. And I doubt you'd tell me, but the bitch deserves to burn in hell. Hell yeah, she does. Wait, did you just admit... Hold your horses? No, Jesus, this is why normal CEOs pay for PR people to talk for them. I only agreed that she's a horrible person in every way that counts. Nothing more. Yeah. I mean, you could read more into it, but... Never mind. Does she know that's what you think of her? Why did she let her take your position in the first place? What? I will just cut through the bullshit, okay, Miss Lothar? I guess this is about Jesse and Kara covering his creepy ass. He spent months on this case, and he'd like some closure. I guess this is about Jesse and Kara covering his creepy ass. Right, yes, okay, I see. Yes, because Jesse was the one who was sexually harassing people and generally being a nasty piece of work. Kara was his sister, I think. Pretty much. I mean, I don't really want that information. I mean, it would be nice to have, definitely, and what's going on, but I also want to do my job. Well, here's your closure. Double Sparrows has severed practically all ties with them. They don't work here. They get no company money. They probably won't ever show up here again. The company is not their circus anymore, and the workers are not their monkeys. I'm in charge now, so yeah, if there's anything you'd like from me, I'm all ears. It wasn't just Jesse and his sister. This company has ingrained structures of abuse and immoral. I've ordered internal investigations and audits. Everyone related to those illicit activities was disciplined, legal actions, firings, and rebukes, all depending on the severity of the misdemeanors. I don't have a stomach for all of this creepy corporate shit, so I'm trying to steer this ship in the right direction. Don't know what else I can tell you. Damn. For fuck's sake. No matter how I look at it, it seems like she's done everything I hoped to achieve. Montgomery clan is over. The queen bitch, a symbol of everything that's wrong with tech CEOs, is gone. Jesse, that perverted, embezzling son of a bitch, is gone. I should be glad, so why is there a sinking pit in my stomach? Go further. You should make amends. You should make amends. Somebody must take responsibility. Listen, I get why you're mad, but this is a corporation. Diffusing responsibility is what it does. Everyone who worked here was guilty, so all of Double Spiral's clients, shareholders, etc. I hated Montgomery too. I took the company from her hands as an outsider, and now I'm the only person on a power trip here. All of the fuckheads who disgusted me are gone. You want to hold me accountable? Sure. But hold me accountable for my own actions. Hell, these would be more than enough to put me away for life. The biggest case of my professional life. Solved with some weirdo who fucked Kara and Jesse over in presumably underhanded ways. I mean, isn't that largely how you were going to do it anyway as well? Doesn't get any more anticlimactic than this. Fucking hell. I'm not asking her how she did it, but why would you tell me? All I can guess is she's an outcast who decided to get her hands dirty and obtain power to do something she considered good. I mean, you might bond over your mutual hatred. The fact that she is all tech and you are no tech. I mean, opposites attract. Not necessarily in a romantic way, but in friendship, certainly you can do that as well. Providing you have some sort of core. So, I don't know. Something I've always been afraid to do. Yep. Anyway, I feel for you, but I have a lot of work to do, so if this wasn't just a trip down memory lane and you have any other questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? I feel like a car just ran me over. I need to keep my shit together. Right. A few days ago, the Anarch Baron was found dead in his office. Are you familiar with the case? Douglas Callahan? Of course I'm familiar. Every kindred online is talking about it. And what are they saying? They're accusing everyone. I mean, it is the internet. Are they accusing you? Why would they do that? I found a peculiar note in Cahill's remains. It had your name on it. Huh? What can you say about this? Nothing. I've never met the guy. I've never even seen him. He wasn't my crowd. So, why would he have a note with your name in his pocket? No, Walt Disney's last words written, Kurt Russell. No clue. I mean, that was certainly a boost to Kurt Russell's career. And, you know, the things he did with that career, which is still ongoing, absolutely fantastic. The Thing, Snake Plissken's Adventures, Big Trouble in Little China, was it Executive Decision? Him and Steven Seagal, terrorists took over a plane and they were trying to deal with it. And he plays a nerdy analyst type guy. That was fun. I mean, the later Santa, I want to say Santa Claus movies, but that's not what they're called. But where he plays Santa, they've been fun as well. So yeah, he's had an all-round. He's had a fun career where he's done a lot of good stuff. Anyway, I watched closely. Nothing suggests he's hiding anything. Perhaps a love of Kurt Russell. Well, that actually contained 3 other names, so 4 names in total. Agathorn, D'Angelo, Tamika. Ringing any bells now? Her finger, which hasn't stopped moving across the phone touchscreen since I first saw her, freezes. You didn't have to say phone touchscreen. You could just say phone. Unnecessary wordage. Yeah, it kind of does actually. It's a short list of promising unaffiliated kindred that was making the rounds in NYC a few months ago, in case anyone needed a hero for hire. Really? No, that can't be true. Unaffiliated kindred. Agathorn was not unaffiliated. I didn't know Callahan had it. I knew Sophia Langley did, as well as a few Primogen. Not sure about the Anarchs. I mean, Callahan had it because he's an Anarch. Or the Anarchs had it because he's an... Who could have prepared this list? And they... One of the local information brokers? A short but telling pause. Anonymous. How anonymous? Sort of anonymous. She's obviously conflicted about whether she should tell me, or maybe she's pretending so that I won't get out of her. Making a mess of her office's work, so might as well put on the tough guy act again. Let's go. I have nothing against them, anonymous, or it's in my best interest to hurt them, anonymous. As if it's a ladder, we might be in business. This is so, I mean... Give up your sources, says the journalist. She briefly considers her options, then gives up. It's my sire, Carter Vanderqueen. I can't remember how I said it before, but him, Carter. He's brokering information. Everyone knows becoming the Prince of New York is his ultimate goal, and he wants to make friends in all the high places. Sharing useful info is a pretty effective way to achieve that. So you're telling me that he, a Malkavian Primogen, sold this list to an Anarch Baron. I guess that actually explains why you're so unconventional as a CEO as well. That's awesome. Sure, looks like it. Or, sure looks like it. Why would he suggest his own child to somebody? Why would you not if you wanted to advance them? To have a person on the inside, that too. Just another way to further his information web. Wouldn't they realise you two are close? The story going around is he left me alone and I hate his guts. Well, at least half of that is true. She's talkative. Probably sees me as a way to undermine Carter. Let's see how much further I can push her. Huh. I was wondering how someone like you could control a company like Double Spiral. I suppose our friend in high places would explain it. Oh, now you're pushing the button of... Oh, nepotism. Yeah, lucky me. Not happy about being a boss. I mean, that just sounds... I mean, she's obviously happy about doing that. She was good with it. Not happy about being rich is just stupid. And I mean, I know these are sarcastic responses, but yeah. Not happy about being a girl boss, leading one of the biggest IT companies in the country. A boss. Huh. He stares at dozens of display on the wall in front of her, which all simultaneously fizzle out as my powers kick in. Damn. That's some big chunky hills. Do you remember the Y2K era internet? Vaguely. Jesus, I barely remember the internet at all. My people can't really use it. But yeah, I guess I sort of. I guess I sort of remember forums, geosites, browser wars, all those homemade amateurist web pages. It was a golden age. Everyone was welcome to freely express their creativity and obsessions in the abstract new frontier. No formulated rules. Every site has a distinct new universe to explore. I'm doing you a disservice with this kind of voice that I'm doing. Sorry. You should be more anarch. You know, as a kid, for some reason, I kept saving every web page that moved or changed me in some way. I don't even know why I did it, but today a folder with these is one of my greatest treasures. Save the past, they're your memories. I mean, I don't generally do photographs, yeah, which is odd given them. But yeah, I am. I'd rather have a tangible, physical thing to hold in my hand, like. Oh, he said just picking up a thing. This tiny little Cthulhu thing, which has memories attached to it for me. Yeah, I don't need a photograph of the night and the day that happened, that I acquired that. Yeah? I have the memory surrounding it of what's going on, and I'd much rather have that than a photograph or anything. And sites, etc. can do the same sort of thing, but hey, it's not to discuss philosophy, it's to go over this. Fast forward to today. I'm a boss of a company that has one overarching goal: steer the online narrative in every possible way that benefits the Camarilla. And because the online world is so fucked right now, I can do it using only 5 websites or so. Yeah, social media. Every day, I deploy thousands of believable sock puppets to force someone's belief on the masses. Right now, they're being managed by these ghouls. Soon, they will be partially managed by AI. Basically, an all-American version of the Chinese 50-cent party. A new pattern of public opinion guidance. Ever since I was a teen, I've pretended to be different people online for fun. Aping the posting patterns of others was something I turned out to be horrifyingly good at. Became even better at it after the embrace. Something about the voice of Malkav in my head. For several years I've become a one-person internet empire. I can impersonate anyone. Okay, so multiple personality disorder used for good, or used in, or focused in a useful manner for you. Okay. I dream of tulips, a humble florist from Chattanooga who strives to share positive energy with her audience using photos of beautiful bouquets, motivational quotes, and the occasional The Office gif. At Vulva Hufflepuff, a single mum from Brighton who reckons all these trans women must be bonkers and spend seemingly every waking moment of her life having a row with anyone who disagrees. Polygon classicist, a 19-year-old kid from Utah who keeps posting Y2K 3D renders of poorly proportioned, scantily clad ladies, telling his audience to remember what they took from you. Somehow, this talent got me here, where it's no longer fun, but work. Work I usually entrust to these ghouls because of all my duties. I want out before my entire fucking mind gets monetized. Well, if I weren't so fiercely loyal to the Camarilla, I'd be able to help you. Mikado won't have that, so I'll keep doing my best for both him and Double Spiral's investors. So that's why she wants me to look at him. I assume most of her operations focus on New York City? A lot of them, yeah. How do you imitate a New Yorker's voice with those sock puppet accounts? Living in Manhattan and being mentally unstable makes this shit easy. To a normal, well-adjusted person from outside the city, everyone here seems mentally unstable. Ever watched that 9/11 Howard Stern show? Nope, never watched Howard Stern. Nope. Check it out someday. It's educational. Ask anyone in New York City about it, and they're like, it was a great bonding moment. He was helping us make sense of everything. He kept saying what we were all thinking. Then you listen to it, and it's everyone yelling that we need to nuke something. Maybe the entire world. Get rid of all the Muslims. Fuck the human rights. No investigations. Take that oil. Cheering. You watch it, you study it, you witness that specific brand of horror in the face of tragedy, and you understand that nothing outside of New York City really exists for the people who live here. Or the vampires. That's an interesting view. I was in a Cthulhu game where I was playing a New York cop, or a New York investigator who used to be a cop. And when he hit his insanities, one, he was going to be obsessed with red, which, you know, I play up all the time. And two, it was going to be that New York, the state, was the only place left in the whole of America that wasn't an apocalyptic wasteland. So whenever he had to venture outside of New York State, he would be all tooled up and ready to go with, you know, camping gear and food and rations and trading supplies and things, and a couple and guns as well, because I mean it was a Cthulhu investigation anyway, so guns were necessary. Well, it was a homebrew Cthulhu-esque game. You could survive the encounters, but you always came back changed, whether physically or mentally. It was a fun campaign. But yeah, there we go. More insight into the character that I played. There. Jesus Christ. More than 10 years ago now. Anyway, foundational text, really. Whenever I need to get in the New York mindset at work, I let it play in the background. Looks like a charm. Seriously, give it a shot sometime. No. Someday I might. For now, I think I will confront Vander Weyden with what you've told me. Or is it what you haven't told me? What's the story? Me? Of course I haven't told you anything. You're such a good investigator, you figured it out by yourself. And if you ask, just tell him Kaiser sold you the info. That should do the trick. I could do with knowing more about Kaiser. I see. Thank you. Not for. I did nothing. Let Nastya show you out. And if you don't know Vander Weyden's address, just ask her. Ah, time passing. Thank you for having me, Mr. Vander Weyden. Oh, no need, no need. I'll be happy to assist your investigation in whatever way I can, Miss Sawinski. That sickeningly sweet smile. Is this office spacious but oppressive? Here's a man who knows how to subtly unnerve people. But does he even realize it? I'm not feeling oppressed by the office. Nice big open space, you can see everywhere. I think I'd prefer a you can see forever. I mean, you can see a long, long distance here. I'd like the infinite repeating thing, I think. You know, flick a switch, stop the outside view. Or have it flash every so often. For merest milliseconds. Yeah, have a wow, have them be giant televisions like that, showing what is actually happening outside. But then the merest, every so often, have the merest millisecond of the infinite hall, so that your brain subconsciously recognizes it, but you don't consciously see it. That would be weird and unnerving. That'd be great. I'm sure the presence of the esteemed Addison Wayne will guarantee I'm totally transparent. Am I right, Addison? You look like Chris something or other, who's currently in Death in Paradise and was in 2.4 Children? No, I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, he was Chris Marshall. That's the actor's name. There we go. Addison Payne. Looks like I've interrupted a friendly meeting. In the far corner of the room, I spot glasses of blood and 2 spittoons. Vices and follies of the rich. Are you sure I'm not wasting your time? Not at all. Busy as I might be, I can say I'm not curious about findings in the case. Not at all. Busy as I might be, I can't say I'm not curious about the findings in the case. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So, how are you handling your newfound responsibilities? I'm managing. I'll start by asking the obvious. Where were you the night Douglas Callahan met his untimely demise? Whiten raises an eyebrow and then lets out a restrained chuckle. Hear that, Addison? I might be suspected of foul play. Exciting, isn't it? Carter, no antics, please. Please answer the question. Of course. Well, I was right here, just like I told Prince Bernhard. Much as I'd love to celebrate my power, sometimes one has to celebrate the amount of work piling up on their desk. So your alibi is you were right here. Alibi? Yes, I suppose. Can anyone back up your story? Well, I did make a few business-related phone calls as I was working, so there's that. That doesn't really answer my question, does it? Because, I mean, could you be... Oh, well, it depends how long the differences between the phone calls were made. He regards me with a stare reserved for a troublesome child. Miss Sawinski, this right here is my private little fortress, a space specifically designed to make me focus. I really don't let people in to break that focus. Aside from occasional esteemed guests, such as yourselves, of course, and a few wonderful Mexican women responsible for the cleaning duties. Wow. Dick. So you don't have an alibi? The look in his eye screams, why won't you at least pretend to try and get on board with my program, kid? I suppose, but why would that matter? Because I found something that belongs to you on the victim's person. Ooh, did you? I mean, the name of one of your... if it's written in your handwriting as well, that would be interesting. Pardon me? Took the words right out of my mouth. We're not talking a murder weapon or something of that caliber, of course. No, it was a short list of 4 names, unaffiliated kindred whose services could be useful to anyone interested in toppling the current power balance in New York City. Tamaka, Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Excuse me, Miss Sawinski, but I'm afraid I don't follow. How is that something that belongs to me? I have it on good authority that that is a shortlist you've been shopping around to anyone interested here in New York City, be it the Camarilla or the Anarchs. Addison tenses up, and its host is not happy about it. This is just preposterous. I'm calling a bluff right here, miss. Nope, the bluff is coming right now. Mr. Van der Weyden, if you want to voice concerns about the information I have, how about you voice them to Kaiser, not me? Addison turns to Van der Weyden, clenching his lips and gripping his wheelchair armrest tightly. For a brief moment, the ever-present smile on Van der Weyden's face goes missing, and the expression that replaces it reminds me of a horrifying void. Like a little peek into what's really going on in his soul. Quickly collects himself, but the image is burned into my retinas. To think, these sorts of unsavory rumors are circulating around me. I should be grateful you let me know. So you're denying it? Of course I'm denying it, categorically. You can bet your life savings on it. I certainly hope it is nothing more than an unfortunate blunder. And tu, Brute? Oh, that says brutes because there's no accent. Come on, Addison, we've known it. Come on, Addison, we've known each other for years. Yes, and what about it? I will. Sweet Jesus, Addison. I will go back to you in a second.
Any more questions, Mr. Winsky? I get the feeling if I had revealed this information while Addison was not here, I would be dead.
Any names on the list sound familiar to you? No. I mean, yes, that's my long-estranged child on your list, but that's just another reason why I'm flabbergasted anyone would consider it mine. Me? I see. Well, I hope you understand why I'm considering you a prime suspect now. Yes, and I swear to clear my name as soon as possible. Scout's honor. Any more questions? Really? I'm good for now. Alright. Chef Al Asmar will probably contact you later. I will get in touch with him myself, ASAP. Once again, thank you for your work. He extends his hand towards me, practically forcing me to shake it. And he puts his hand on my shoulder to lead me to the door, all too eager to see me off. Whisper something in my ear? Out of sheer curiosity, Mr. Vanderweed. I have one more question. It may be a bit random. I really didn't need to ask it, but I wanted him to die inside for a moment. Oh, of course, my dear. A slightly strained tone suggests I may have succeeded. You seem like a person who couldn't live outside of New York City. By chance, have you listened to Howard Stern's talk show after the World Trade Center fell? Why would you... You're tipping your hand. Sound unsure, but once again, carefully controlled chuckle escapes his mouth. Geez, that is random, but well... New York, born and raised, just like you said. Of course I did. Your opinion? Same as everyone else's. It was the spiritual guidance we needed that day, coming from the unlikeliest of places. A visceral response that verbalized everything we felt. A beautiful moment of unity. Alright, so you're not looking hard at what's being said. Not that I'm into lowbrow jokes about Pamela Anderson and the typical shock value that show tended to offer, but as far as I'm concerned, Howard did an indispensable thing that day. Why are you asking? No particular reason. I thought it might give me some insight into the kind of person you are. And it did. Well, that's the kind of person I am. Just your average New Yorker. So it seems. And I'll leave you and Mr. Payne to your plans for conquering the city. Ooh, unless I find somebody more heinous, you might go down for this. Conquering the... Now that's spicy. Addison, I love this girl. She's gonna go far, I'm telling you. She's got that spunk, that glint in her eye. Bad phrasing. Goodbye, Mrs. Lewinsky. I wish you a pleasant respite. Swift success in your investigation. Good night. I get a point to bow to Addison's servant, not the man himself. Now he's even noticed. At least these invisible displays of rebellion make me feel a little better about myself. Alright. The faster I leave, the better. Father. No, Julia, not father. Huh. Father. How are you holding up? I'm fine, stumbling around and hoping for a miracle to happen. Like always. No better place to ask for a miracle than behind these gates, you know. So I hear. As I pass him, the report about Aisling and Agathorn, I look around, but Benoit is nowhere to be seen. Just ignore it. I mean, it is good that he is not here, right? But acknowledging it means you're acknowledging that you were looking for him, so fucking ignore it. I must decide to stay silent and simply bask in the happiness of something good finally happening in my unlife. But of course, it doesn't last for long. I sent Benoit away because I wanted to talk to you about him. Oh god, no, no! I knew it. Locate him how exactly? Benoit won't accept anything less than me joining a convent. He's like a worried parent. A basic gesture here and there. No, fuck him. Showing up at the church from time to time, pretending to listen, would get him off your case. No, No, you do not do that. You. I mean, I've been through the song and dance before with my own worried parents when I was a teenager, wandering into the forest until mass was over, not even being able to smoke because they'd pick up the scent. Look, do not. Look, if you are in a situation where you need to pay lip service to do something, whatever it is, going to church, having to keep down a job and laughing at somebody's jokes when they're really not funny, I mean, if they're in bad taste, call them out on that shit. Provided you can. But if you're in a situation where you absolutely have to keep doing a thing to keep a roof over your head or keep getting food, yeah, do it. When it is safe to do so, get the fuck out of there and go to somewhere more mentally safe for you. Yeah? Moving out, getting a new job, moving to a different place, going to university, or living with a friend, whatever it is, do it. Yeah? Not the best moment of my life, you know, and part of the reason I'm distancing myself from them. I don't need this fake energy in my life, and I'm honestly weirded out by you asking me to lie. Exactly. I'm not asking you to lie, Julia. Let me ask you this way. Are you a spiritual person? I guess I am, kind of. Always was. Suddenly being able to see ghosts did not change a thing. I mean, but that doesn't mean you need, even if you're spiritual, doesn't mean you need organized religion. Or to pay lip service to somebody else's religious belief. I think it's mostly because seeing the world as a purely material seemed boring to me somehow. You are, and you were raised Catholic, so can't you find a way to express that spirituality in our church? No, don't do it. I don't see a way right now. And why is that? I sigh. I mean, you are making that I am coming here because it is my job as well, so you're forcing me to be here for my work. It's not great. Too many people who think my soul needs to be saved because I live with a woman, for starters. I don't know, there's a lot of reasons. Like the sin of drinking blood every other night, or feeling some primal fear whenever I walk by a clergyman whose faith seems to actually be genuine. That's interesting. Oh, it sounds like an excuse. It's about your relationship with God, not other people. Well, if it's about my relationship with God, then I don't need to placate somebody else, an other person. Do I? Also, it's interesting that I don't feel genuine fear around you. So you don't have genuine faith? In theory, but back in the old country, I've heard my share of homilies that feel like complete condemnations of my kind, and none of that would stem hate towards people like me. You know, when church-adjacent people try to stir shit around your very existence every few months, some minimal support would be appreciated. Sorry, what you can count on is silent complicity. I get it. I know there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of undeserved hurt going around, but listen, I don't even want to talk about it. I fucking hate the tone I use when I talk about it, so I sound preachier than those preachers. My biggest dream is just not to give a shit. I don't remember things, like this story about a guy from my hometown, most macho guy around, a Jew you could sharpen a knife on, became an actor in Warsaw, very successful, deservedly so. The capital might not be in New York City, but it's still a big city, and big cities go to the heads of pumpkins like us. In this case, it resulted in a dream of coming out to his parents. He was surrounded by all these stories of openly queer people. Played one even. So he thought he had a chance of making it work, so he goes back to town, tells everyone he's going to live his truth. His dad, a ruling party adjacent businessman, curses him. Uncle takes him into the bushes and starts to destroy him physically. So bad he gets put in an ICU. His face and jaw get ruined for good. Fast forward a year or two, with his career over, the guy stuck in his parents' rustic house with no other path to follow, who turns to God, who tells him to forgive his kin. Everything is fine again. Angelic choirs sing of divine mercy. A kind-looking priest talks about protecting our families. Man sits in the front row of the church, a disfigured smile on his face. That story alone didn't drive me away. At the time I saw how blissful he was, I could swear he was actually able to hear God whispering to him, and he looked like a saint. Fucked me up so bad I left. I feel nauseated now. Maybe I'm still reeling from hearing about Kara and Jesse Montgomery. Now, if we could talk about it, if we could never talk about it again, that'd be great. I know that I tend to sound like a loser who loves to pontificate about shit I can't change, but at least I keep trying to change myself, damn it. That went off empty platitudes, but I think I understand what I was meant to understand. I hope I haven't insulted you in any way. Whatever. I'll learn not to hold people responsible for what the rest of their organisation is doing. It would be hard looking in the mirror otherwise. Not that there's not much I can see in the mirror right now. I was thinking the same thing. I was just wondering about one thing. There's always a cross on your chest. I like how it goes with my outfit. Is it just a fashionable accessory to you? It's an important piece of the outfit. It's an important piece of an outfit. Will that be all? Yes. Have a good night, Julia. Have a good night, Father. I'm glad that they actually mentioned and brought it round to the cross on her, because I was worried they weren't going to do something like that. Find her sitting in bed, scrolling through Pinterest on her phone. Hey, Dakota! So how are you doing, detective? Fall onto the bed, burying my face in the pillows, and scream. Not bad, huh? I don't want to tell her about Double Spiral. I still have to figure out how I feel about it. No, you said I will tell you tomorrow, and now it is tomorrow. I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, shut up. If you aren't, who is? I was going to say, you are an investigative journalist. You absolutely are cut out for this. Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, Columbo, Mads Mikkelsen's boyfriend from Hannibal, whatever his name was, I don't know. Somebody who can actually put two and two together? Not seen Hannibal. Seen all the others. Love all the others. Maybe I should take this as a recommendation from a fictional character. You can't fool me into believing you're incompetent, you dumbass. I've read your articles. Don't pretend you suddenly forgot how to do your job. I haven't. I've got no evidence, no witnesses, no promising leads, nothing. I just stumble around assuming things, talking big. Blair. I mean, Blair! You're turning into the Count. That'd be great. So you're like, I don't know, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown? Yeah, sounds good. And he actually solved his case. Yeah, but he goes from a well put together detective to a jacked up mess at the end. He's got the coiffed hair, and he looks good right at the beginning, and then he acquires cuts and scrapes, and all kinds of crap goes down on him along the way, and he ends up looking just really messed up by the end of it. And then wished he never took it up. Exactly. Was that supposed to cheer me up? Forget it, Jake. It's Forgetting Town. I'm just saying that the situation you're in sounds an awful lot like Chinatown. Depraved elites, big plans for the city, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and that's depressing. It is what it is. I think you should approach it this way and look for a solution to your problems outside of the box. Not as a mystery, but maybe like a trap to escape? Maybe. I throw myself onto the bed again and lie there for a bit, staring at the ceiling. Then I approach Dakota from behind. I take her sleeve to draw her attention. Psst. Hey. Put the phone away. Now? Come on, Jules, we can't do this every night. I've got my own work and I need to worry about anemia. You said so yourself. Besides, I was just looking for inspiration. You offered yourself to me yesterday and I said no. Now I'm coming out. I don't know that this is what... I mean, I assume it is what I'm doing. This is what, the second time in the game. And it would be like the second night, and now this is the fifth. I don't know how long it takes to regenerate enough blood, but hey, I rub against her clothes with my face like a cat. You're impossible. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the news? People are going absolutely insane about this virus. Cancelling trips and orders. Oh, okay, so coronavirus is going. And pretty please? Can't, honey. I have to replenish my stash. Besides, I'm worried about overuse. My brain is working a bit slow. My balance is off. I was just thinking how I miss meditation. She's giving me clear signals she just wants an excuse. Even though it would be the responsible thing to do. I know she's insatiable. She's usually the one who takes the initiative. Let's try a final push. Oh, I don't hear. I'm whispering it. No drugs tonight. Let's do this raw. Alright, okay. She throws her hands up in the air. Victory! Jesus, you're greedy these days. I hope my thirst is not becoming greater. What has happened, haven't you noticed? The symbolic and the semantic. Achievement unlocked. I mean... Do I now have to click rest? Why would you even make me go on to the next bit like this? Still, alright. I mean, so many baffling design decisions in this. Oh, you're up early. Yeah, told you. Got work to do. A stretch. That's admirable. Reminds me of that one quote you always used to throw around. A lot of people say you can't smoke dope and get drunk when you've got kids, and that's not true. You can, but you still got to get up in the morning. That's being responsible. That's the one. I never understood why it was so hilarious to you. Neither did I. I just accepted the mystery and made it my personal credo. I'm a responsible person. Are you planning to have kids? Not anymore. Not in a million years. By the way, you've got mail. An envelope by the door. It's from Kadir. Inside is a message saying, "You won't be able to make it tonight, but we'll rendezvous tomorrow to meet D'Angelo. He wants me to lay low until then, and to stay in this apartment if possible." Apparently, nobody knows where Tamika is. They only know she's in trouble, and he doesn't want me near it. Well, what is it? Sorry, it's top secret shit. Almost caught myself putting you at risk. Phew. No, what? Wait. Anyway, I should get going. It'll be fun to spend more time together, you know. Dakota, you know this is important to me. Why are you making excuses and going out when you've been told to stay in? Are you just bucking authority? Well. I know, but I'd like to know I'm important to you as well. That makes two of us. Just a few more days. I will find the killer, kick his ass, get a promotion, and we'll do something we've never done before. Like what? Good question. I'll have to think of something. Now, catch up on your work. I need to get going. Pour baked beans in the bathtub and then crush them like they are grapes. Have you ever done that before? No? Something you could do together? Fine. Good luck. Stay safe. You know it. This place is weirdly empty tonight. Oh well. I'll have the usual. I mean, do you even have to say it? When you come in, I thought they knew already. Well, there's a big, what are we doing in this relationship talk coming if I don't change my ways? Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't already happened. But most of the time, Dakota seemed happy enough just listening to the stories of my own life. So why did you leave? Oh, God. Even if it's all boring and normal to me, it's exotic and engrossing to her. Guess I have that going for me. Oh, well. I have no idea what to do tonight, so I'll just do the obvious thing and wing it. These vagabond tunes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. Or however that went. that song. Time to lose myself in these busy streets and pray that the answers I'm looking for are out there. And if they're not, maybe I'll at least find some amusement or blood instead. No. No, I don't want to be part of your goddamn injury. Look, can I not be bothered for one goddamn second? You're not listening. I need to resolve this thing with Dakota. Since if we're going around in circles on behalf of the court wasn't stressful enough, maybe a visit to some quiet neighborhood will help clear my head. Why aren't you going to Dakota and saying... Alright, okay, no. Well, there we go. Alright, and this... Sorry, I looked down there. This is where we're going to leave it for today. I know, shorter stream because I started later, but now I am back. I am back! Full schedule, baby. Except Monday, when I will have to do something about that because something is clashing on Monday, and that is a horrible thing to do. But yes, I anticipate being back and doing all of the things that I have been doing before. Possibly more. I don't know if I'm going to do an evening stream of Guardians of the Galaxy, as I have been doing. I haven't played any more of that since last time it was streamed, because I want to keep it just for you. But yeah, there we go. So, I'm afraid to say we end here today. As I flick over, finally, where is it, to the ending screen and say, thank you. Ah! No. Hold off for just a minute while I, you. Hold off, you up there. Stay back. Just for a second. While I sign off. Thanks. Just hold off. Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Whether live and in person or later on in the VOD, you do excellent work by being here. You help me feel valid? I don't know, that sounds wrong, but you know, I like that you're here. Thank you. Until the next time, I have been Richard, and this whole thing has been LMTDTMFFR, or say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels, and I will see you all next time. You all have fun.